Hey everybody, just wanted to give you a little bit of history and backstory into myself and my wife and our decision to look into moving to Montana and living a simpler life. Uh, I've been living in a manner that I'm sure most people live, going to work every day, working hard, trying to do our best, and one of the things that, at least me personally, that I've come up against is kind of a lack of satisfaction in the day to day, and so I typically think of myself as a hard worker, do my best, and over the years, I've been able to, I guess, work my way up the so-called ladder, so-called chain, and ended up in a management role, looking at some options and some things that to simplify my life, and it's kind of led me to maybe rebooting or restarting things, going to a much simpler, slower paced way of life rather than a very fast paced corporate life. So a couple months ago, I sent my brother-in-law an email, and I'd been looking at some property in Montana, and there was a cheap piece of property that I had found. It was 40 acres or something like that. I sent my brother-in-law an email with a link to that property and said, "Hey, do you want to sell everything and move to Montana?" And I sent back, "Sure, let's go tonight." So started a little bit, I guess, a little bit of dialogue back and forth about maybe some of our goals, and maybe wanting to slow things down and live a little simpler life. And from there, all of a sudden, a family dialogue started, to where we were looking at some properties and talking and discussing about possibly picking up where our roots are, and going and buying some cheap land to start an off-grid type of lifestyle, where we're able to live simply, get as much off the land as possible, and either be able to not work or work very little secularly. And anyhow, it led us down a little bit of a journey here. We a few weeks ago went to Montana and looked at some property. We found a piece that we really liked, 320 acres, and we put an offer in on it. So if all goes well and according to plan, we'll be closing on that in another month or so, and starting to look at changing some things drastically from where we currently are, to make room and accommodate a move and a new type of life. So I guess the following pictures and videos are a little bit about our trip to Montana, some of the properties we looked at, but I also wanted to give a little bit of background into maybe why I started this channel, and the reasons why we're looking to pick up and go back to a homesteading type of life. So please enjoy. Montana had some beautiful valleys, some gorgeous granite cliffs, and they really know how to make a steak. So this is the first property we looked at. It was an absolutely gorgeous piece. 25 acres of mature trees along the bottom of the property where it slopes off, and the rest of it was kind of an open grassland type of property. Absolutely gorgeous, but there's Adam smiling. Absolutely gorgeous, but just a little bit smaller since we were splitting it 3 ways. A little bit smaller than what we were looking for, so that's why we didn't choose this one. Panoramic view from up on top of that piece. Feel like you're up on top of the world looking down. Very beautiful chunk. Beautiful grasslands, beautiful trees on the property. There was a spring down below that was still flowing a little bit on the back side of this picture. It's not in the shot, but it did have a little spring on the property. And it was gated, completely surrounded by public land. It was a nice chunk. This was another piece that we looked at, kind of a little steeper than we were interested in, but really nice piece. Another 320 acre parcel. There were a couple of flat spots in it, but for the most part it was up on the side of the hill and dropped off on the one side and went up the hill on the other. Beautiful clouds while we were there though. A storm coming in. Gorgeous day to be out looking. It didn't even rain on us. Saw some elk along the way, which was nice to see. Certainly have some nice elk hunting there in Montana. We went on to another piece after looking at the elk. This was the following day. We were looking at a piece up on top of a hill. You had to drive up the side of a cliff to get to it though, and it was kind of windswept on the top, so we passed on this one, but another pretty piece in its own way.
Tell me about it.
There's a rock. This tree line right here is the north boundary of the property. We're sitting on the northwest edge of it.
That rock area there would be part of our property. Is this all part of Twisted Meadow?
I go driving here.
This is the very center of the property.
Look at that meadow.
That is beautiful.
These are a lot of.
Oh, a brat. Well, you were like, you see that?
So what portion of the property is this that we're looking at?
We're right in the middle of it.
In the middle. And that would be on the far side is a boundary. Like the east boundary. This is still East Mulkey. And this is the gravel pit on East Mulkey.
So that tree line right there is the edge.
So this tree line is the end.
Is the west side.
Yeah.
Where's the other road that we were looking at?
It's that one.
It's a.
It's up there.
Yeah, it's up there. It's above that house.
Yeah, you can't see it. It's right
Well, then
above
how
the.
is that part of the property?
This runs this way.
Okay.
Yeah, the long chunk of the property.
So the property run, I mean, the property runs this way.
It's a mile long, by half a mile out.
Can you get out?
There's a whole bunch of ponds, little small ponds up in there.
Don't forget to
and
put your
Stop
thing.
Spring is about a couple feet up that, a couple hundred yards up that road. About halfway between this road and the upper road on the top of the property. If you look at the water, you can see it's running a little bit. Got a little bit around.
This is so cool.
So if you follow my finger and look at the top of that tree line up there, you'll see where the edge of the property runs down along that taller tree line. And then over here, there's a road that cuts across, and it's kind of the top boundary of the property on the south side. So after checking it out fully, we went back to town, had a lot of discussion about it as a family. Went to the Saturday market the next day, and then we sat down and wrote an offer, and away we go. I'll leave you with some video from the Saturday market.
No, take it.